Let's discuss about complete roadmap for Java backend developer. If you wanted to become a Java backend developer, these are the topics you need to go through it. So if you are a fresher, you have to spend at least 6 months time, around 6 months time to learn all these things. So the topics I marked as yellow, those are mandatory topics if you wanted to become a Java developer in 2024. If you are a working professional, just started your career, and if you don't know all these topics, you have to know. The topics I have not marked as yellow, that this is also required. These are the also required, but as a very basic things, you need to know all the yellow things. Okay, if you know all every topics, then it is very good. So these are the basic things you should know. I am going to explain all the required topics if you wanted to become a successful Java backend developer. So you need to know core Java, you need to learn Spring Boot, no need to learn JSP, Servlet and all. If you start learning Spring Core, then Spring MVC, then you are learning Spring Boot, then it is great. Okay. So you have to learn Hibernate. You need to know REST API. Web services, we have both REST and SOAP, but if you know REST API, that is good. SOAP is traditional nowadays, nobody is using. Okay. So you need to know database. You need to have some GitHub knowledge. Okay. So you need to know the tools. Some tools I am going to explain what are those, and you need to know some framework, and you need to know design patterns. Okay. So if you have to know microservices. If you know, that is very good. If you know AWS, if you learn, you will, your resume will be wetted, your profile will be wet. Okay. So all these things you need to know. Let's go and understand in core Java what are the mandatory things we need to learn. Okay. So you see, let me teach. So these things you need to learn. These are the topics. Some Java basics you need to know. Oops concept. Okay. Arrays and string in Java is very important. Without string, you cannot crack any of the interview. Even you cannot develop any of the project. Okay. So exception handling you have to know. Collection framework you have to know. Some of the concept in multi-threading you have to know. Some of the really important methods, object and class. In the object class, okay, in object class some methods are there, you have to know. Okay. In Java 8 new features you have to know. You know, in Java 8 we are having multiple features. Okay, you have to know. So you see, these are the features you have to know in Java 8. Okay. So I will come to this point, don't worry. And if you are going to attend any interviews, you need to practice some interview questions. Okay. Java 11 and 17 is optional. If you know, that is good. If you don't know, it's okay. But if you have to know, because slowly, you know, Java each 6 months nowadays is upgrading. So you should have, as a Java developer, you should have proper knowledge on what are the new features, what are the new functionalities they have added. Okay. So that is well and good to know. Okay. So you have to know Java basics, otherwise you cannot understand or write the code for other topics. So what are the things in Java basics? What is JDK, JRE, JVM? You need to understand. Okay. Sometimes in interview they are asking what is the difference between what is this JDK, JRE, JVM. So you need to know that. And variables, keywords, data types, operators, control statement, constructor, static keywords, these super keyword, all these things, the basic things you need to, if you are very new to the Java, start learning from beginning. Okay. So these basic things you need to know, otherwise you cannot understand upcoming topics. Okay. Then in oops you need to cover, really this oops is very important. Okay. Without understanding oops, it's like pillar of Java. Okay. So these are the concept in oops you need to understand. What is object, what is class, what is inheritance, what is encapsulation, what is polymorphism, what is data abstractions. So in that abstractions we are having abstract class and interface, and in the polymorphism we are having overloading and overriding concept. Okay, so you need to understand. We are having inheritance, ej and haj relationship, like how many types of inheritance, what are those, we need to understand. Okay, so in encapsulations we need to understand what is this encapsulation and what is this class and package. All these things you have to understand and write some code so that you can proceed further. Okay, so oops concept is very very important. Okay, then coming to arrays in Java. Okay, so you need to understand what is this array. Okay, that is really important. And this string is very very important. In string you need to cover like much more things. What is these strings? And we are having string class, string buffer class, string builder class. You need to practice at least 10-15 coding example. Okay, so what is this why string is immutable, and what is this constant pool? All these things you need to understand. The things I have bold it, you have to know that that is the things mandatory for cracking any of the interviews. Okay, that's what I have put it block, sorry, in bold letter. Okay, so Java string is very very important. Without that you cannot proceed further. Okay, then exception handling, how it is implemented, what is that block, like try block, catch block, and throws block. All these things you need to understand. How user defined exception, you are creating custom classes, custom exceptions, and how this finally methods is working. All these things you need to, basics you need to know, and at least you will try few programs like creating some custom exceptions. Okay, so that is really required. Then collection framework, what are the things you really need to read and understand and practice few programs. It is required for your project task and cracking any of the interview. So I have make it blocked. What is array list, linked list? You need to understand what is the data structure, how the implementation happened internally, and hash set how working, and what is this linked hash set, hash map, how hash map internally working, tree map, and this linked hash map, and comparable comparator. These for comparison purposes you need to understand. So sometimes you will get questions on this, and many more times you will get chance to use this hash map, array list, linked list. All these things you will use in your project live code. Okay, so these are the things you need to go through it. Without this you cannot become a good Java backend developer. Okay, so multi-threading, if some of the project, not some of the project, maximum project they are using multi-threading. So you need to know about this multi-threading. You need to understand what is this multi-threading. Some of the methods like join method, sleep method, wait method, and what is this synchronization, inter-thread communications. Okay, how wait, notify all is using. Okay, are using, and all these things, and how to create thread, what are the ways we have create. All these important methods, what is this garbage collections. Okay, so how this synchronization is happening. All these things you have to know. Okay, you have to practice, you have to understand the concept, you have to prepare some interview questions as well. Then object class methods. Okay, in object class, object is a class, super class, supreme class of all the classes. In that we are having so many methods. So out of that around I think 11 methods are there. Okay, so to these three methods you have to know: to string method, hash code method, and equals method. You have to know, you have to understand why we are using these three methods, and where to use, how to write the code. You need to understand that. Okay, and Java 8 new features, as I told you, these are the new features. You see, stream API is very very important. Okay, to understand the stream API you need to understand this lambda expressions and functional interface. Okay, so now you need to understand what is this optional class for each method, default method, method reference. All this bold, all these highlighted features you need to have knowledge. Okay, so that is really required, because nowadays you go any of the interview, you take any of the development, maximum projects they are using at least Java 8. Okay, so these are the things you need to prepare. Along with some core Java, you need to prepare interview questions as well. Okay, so in spring boot you need to cover these are the topics. Okay, so what is this, like, you need to understand why the spring boot, how it is differ from springs, and you need to understand spring boot features. Okay, what are the features in the spring boot, you need to go through it. And you need to develop some crowd applications, you need to understand what is dev tools, and you need to develop a POC applications, like example application for using spring boot JPA. And what is the spring boot actuator, what is spring boot profiling and lombok. And along with REST API, you need to develop one spring boot applications. Then some few annotations you need to understand, those are very important. And you need to develop a application with spring boot logging, exception handling, so externalize properties, spring boot with swagger API, and security with spring boot. Okay, all these highlighted things you need to prepare as a spring boot developer. If you are a spring boot developer, you need to know all these points. Okay, so no worries, I uploaded few videos, I'm going to cover all these topics in my upcoming videos, so you can learn from these channels. Okay, so if you really getting something from this channel or in this session, please like, comment and subscribe this channel. If you are new to this channel, it will be really motivate me to create some more videos for you. And also you will get such videos which will really helpful. Okay, so let's see, you need to you need to understand what is this Hibernate, and no need to read or mock up more. So few topics like how generator class is generating, and how dialects, this Hibernate dialects is generating. And two types of mapping are there, Hibernate mapping and inheritance mapping. What is those, how it is using. And HQL, Hibernate query language, and Hibernate criteria query language, HCQL. These things, native query, Hibernate caching, we are having second level cache. Okay, in Hibernate. So you need to go through all this concept, and you need to practice at least one example, so that you can prepare yourself for a good developer. And wherever it is requirement will come in the project development, you can understand the requirement, and you can implement accordingly. And you need to prepare some interview questions also, if you wanted to crack, or if you wanted to switch the job, that is really required. And REST API also you need to learn. Okay, we are having two types of REST API. One is JAX RS called, and another is JAX WS. Okay, so JAX RS libraries is more important. Okay, so we have, as I told you, two types of web services. One is SOAP and another is REST. SOAP is traditional, so if you know REST, that is okay. So you need to, at least whenever you learn the spring boot, along with this spring boot, you need to, like RESTful spring boot, you need to prepare. Okay, so along with spring boot, you need to prepare this REST web services. It will be really helpful to understand maximum projects. In the reality, you will get this RESTful spring boot applications. Along with REST, for this REST API, you need to prepare some interview questions as well. Okay, so you need to know one database at least. Okay, Oracle and MongoDB both are very popular database. Okay, you at least you will know Oracle and SQL. Okay, if you don't know PLSQL, we can learn, manage later. MongoDB you can learn later, but you need to start, if you are going for interview, at least one DB you have to know. Okay, so that's what I told. So you see these tools you need to know. Okay, so one is Marvel and ID. Okay, Maven, it is a building tool. Okay, whenever you are developing a spring boot application, that times you will know what is this Maven, you need to read and you need to use it. Okay, and one ID is that is called Eclipse, you need to mandatory have to know. If you know IntelliJ VS Code, that is good. And Jenkins also, if you have knowledge, that is very good. CI/CD pipeline. So some tools, if you know, Jira, how it is working, how we are tracking the box and all. So that is very good. Okay, these are the tools you need to know. Mandatory tools I have highlighted, you need to know Maven and Eclipse IDE. Okay, so design pattern, you go any of the interview, they will ask this design pattern, what is singleton pattern, can you implement it, what is abstract factory pattern. These two we are having many design pattern. Okay, out of many, you if you know these two, then that is sufficient to crack any of the interview, and maximum chances you will use these two design pattern in the project. Okay, that's why I mentioned here. Okay, so you see, apart from this Git, you have to know. So if you don't know, before entering into the project work, or entering into the company, so it is SBN actually repository. You need to know either Git Bash, both you need to know Git Bash and GitHub. Okay, so this Git is a repository. We need to understand some of the commands, how it is working. So if you know, then that is good. Okay, if you don't know, you have to know. Okay, so along with that, you should have some microservices knowledge, AWS knowledge. If your experience is more, and you learned this AWS and microservices, it will be really helpful to you, and your resume will be wet, and your profile will be very valuable. Okay, so all these things I am trying to cover in my channel slowly. It will take time, and you need to have patience, and spend, if you are new to the Java, at least you spend 5 6 months and practice well, understand the concept, and start writing the code, and uh, then slowly it will come. It will not come in one night or one day. Yeah, like the difficult, the good things, it will take time to uh, know. So no worries at all the best for your future. So prepare well. If anything you wanted to know anything more from me, please connect with me with my email ID, and please put comment, I will respond. Thank you so much for watching these videos. If you really like, and if you really got something from these videos, please subscribe this channel, and please put some comments. It will be really motivate me. Once again, thank you. We'll meet in next video.